Satrix.
This build was recommended to me by Mr. Manblocks Gaming 1987 upon viewing my Solar Cowpoke build. They stated that by combining young Ahamkara's spine with a Monte Carlo and some select mods and fragments, you will produce a busted combo where you use your Trip Mine to charge your melee, which will then charge your grenade, which will then be used for more melee, while also using your supercharged Monte Carlo to obtain even more melee charge. So you can then use Gunpowder Gamble for even more grenade and melee. So you now have this sick closed loop of throw grenade, throw melee, get grenade, get melee, become an alien murdering gambler, and that will just keep going ad infinitum. For this build, we are rocking the young Ahamkara's Spine exotic gauntlets. By harnessing the wish power contained within the Ahamkara's spinal fluid, our trip mines become enhanced with a 14% larger blast radius. They will last for 30 seconds instead of 10 seconds, and they are more durable and harder to be destroyed by the enemy. The spinal fluid wish power will also protect us from being damaged by our own trip mine explosions. So if you get surrounded by enemies, then you could throw this bad boy at your own feet and walk away unscathed. Furthermore, getting solar ability kills will now refund 33% of our grenade energy. There is a tiny 0.3 second cooldown between activations. This prevents getting a full refund from killing multiple enemies with one grenade and encourages the use of your entire kit to get your grenade back. Obviously, our grenade must be the Trip Mine grenade because of our choice of exotic armor, but we will also be using Gunpowder Gamble. With Gunpowder Gamble, our solar kills will charge up an improvised explosive. 6 charges are required. Solar weapon kills grant 1 charge. Ignition and Scorch grant 3, abilities grant 4, and your super kills will grant all 6. This improvised explosive replaces your regular grenade charge and causes an ignition when detonated. It sticks to targets and will explode after 3 seconds, or it can be shot. This improvised explosive is coded as a grenade and will therefore grant you grenade energy upon getting kills with it. The ignition from Gunpowder Gamble and all other ignitions will trigger our Ember of Blistering to grant us even more grenade energy based on the tier of enemy killed. This grenade energy is an additive benefit to the 33% we get from ability kills due to Young Ahamkara's Spine. Our melee ability is very important because it will be our main tool for refreshing our grenade charge. Because of that, it is highly recommended to use Gambler's Dodge so you have a way to quickly get your melee charge in an instant. You can technically use whatever throwing knife you prefer, but for ease of use I went with Knife Trick. We will also be utilizing Scorch as a tool to recharge some of our abilities, and Knife Trick applies 20 Scorch per hit. We will be pairing our knives with Knock 'em Down and Ember of Torches. Ember of Torches will make our powered melee hits grant us the Radiant buff. Then, while we are Radiant, Knock 'em Down will refund our melee ability whenever we get a powered melee kill. This effect can be activated from the same hit that grants us Radiant as long as the target is also killed by the melee. Knock 'em Down also grants some benefits to our super, which is cool but not why it was chosen. Marksman Golden Gun will last 4 seconds longer. Deadshot gains 15% damage resistance, and Blade Barrage fires an additional 3 knives per fan. Since we want our Scorch to help us recharge our abilities, we will be running Ember of Searing so that defeating Scorch targets grants us melee energy depending on the tier of enemy. Ember of Searing will also create a fire sprite and give us a 10-point bump to recovery. We will not be using the fire sprite to heal ourselves, but picking it up will grant us 12.5% grenade energy. Our final fragment can be one of 2 options, Ember of Singeing or Ember of Benevolence. For solo play, Ember of Singeing will boost our class ability recharge rate by 300% for 3 seconds when applying Scorch to a target. With Singeing, you do need to be mindful while applying Scorch. If you kill the target with the same hit you were using to apply Scorch, then it will not trigger the fragment. Ember of Benevolence is arguably the better fragment, but requires granting Restoration, Cure, or Radiant to an ally. Doing so will boost your grenade, melee, and class ability regen by 400% for 6 seconds at the cost of a 10-point hit to our discipline. If you are running with a fire team, especially one with a Well of Radiance, then this will far outshine Ember of Singeing. Since Well of Radiance activates Benevolence, each of your abilities will be recharging super fast during boss phases, enabling you to really throw out some extra damage by peppering in abilities with your weapon damage. While Knock 'em Down will make sure you have a melee charge ready in most combat situations, it will fail you during boss phases or against tankier enemies. Or sometimes you are going to miss your throwing knives. To make up for this, we will be using the Monte Carlo Exotic Auto Rifle. Monte Carlo grants 2% melee energy per hit. Kills with the weapon grant 1 stack of Markov Chain for 4.5 seconds, up to a maximum of 5 stacks. Kills also have a 25% chance to fully refund your melee ability. Getting melee kills will refill the magazine and grant all 5 stacks of Markov Chain. If you have the Bayonet locked Catalyst, then you can hold reload to replace your melee ability with a Bayonet attack. The Bayonet counts as an unpowered melee. The Catalyst isn't necessary at all for the build, and at times can actually seem to slow down your ability loop. This happens because once the Bayonet commandeers your melee ability, you are unable to use your powered melee attack until you rid yourself of the Bayonet, and that means you won't be able to use your powered melee to get your grenade back until you have done so. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have its usefulness. The Bayonet attack is great against tankier enemies because it deals 2,722 damage. Kills with the Bayonet will also refund 50% of your melee ability. For legendary weapons, I chose my handy dandy Mindbender's Ambition because it slaps hard as an aggressive frame and comes with the Incandescent perk. Incandescent is very useful for applying Scorch to enemies without killing them if you are running Ember of Singeing. Then for the heavy slot, I ran my Avalanche that comes with autoloading holster and Incandescent. Incandescent isn't absolutely needed in this slot, but autoloading holster is. This will enable you to empty the magazine, then switch to Monte Carlo to spam abilities and recharge your melee without waiting for the reload. An autoloading rocket launcher would be an even better choice for when you need to pump out more damage. For our armor stats, we will max out our resilience and then get our strength and mobility as high as we can, in that order. A common mistake I see people make with this build is to max out their discipline. It only takes 3 ability kills for us to get our grenade back, which is easy peasy when you are running Knock 'em Down and Gunpowder Gamble. Having higher discipline can be beneficial when running Ember of Benevolence, but even then, in my opinion, it is better to shift as many points as possible to the other stats. On our helmet, we have 1 kinetic siphon and 1 harmonic siphon, so our weapons will be orb printing machines. Then we have hands-on, so that all of our melee kills grant us bonus super energy. I did not choose Ashes to Assets here because while Gunpowder Gamble does interact with most grenade mods, it didn't seem to work with Ashes to Assets during my time with the build. On our arms, we will have 1 impact induction to get an additional 12% to our grenade energy when causing damage with our powered melee, and 1 momentum transfer so that our grenade damage will do the same for our melee energy. Then 1 firepower so that our grenade kills generate 1 orb every 10 seconds. On our chest, I decided to run emergency reinforcement. Young Ahamkara's spine protects us from our trip mine, but it will not protect us from Gunpowder Gamble. Emergency reinforcement will give us an additional 10% of damage resistance upon reaching critical health for 6 seconds when consuming 3 stacks of armor chart. You can increase this to 9 seconds by replacing the Concussive Dampener with a charged up mod. Concussive Dampener doesn't protect you from self-harm, unfortunately. That's what I was attempting here when I slotted it. Our legs will have 1 recuperation to improve our survivability by giving us 70 HP upon orb pickup. Then 1 Orbs of Restoration for 10% energy to our lowest charged ability, and 1 Absolution for 5% to all ability energy when picking up orbs. Our class item will take advantage of our frequent dodges with 2 powerful attractions to automate orb pickup to a distance of 18.5 meters, and 1 distribution to reduce all ability cooldowns by 4% while dodging near enemies. Every part of this build has been evergreen thus far, but we do get some sweet benefits from this season's artifact. Kindling Trigger causes our solar weapons to apply Scorch to unscorched combatants while radiant. Flint Striker causes rapid solar weapon final blows or precision hits to make us radiant, which could technically be used to replace Ember of Torches for this season if you wanted to. Torch grants increased weapon damage to enemies affected by stasis or strand while radiant. Heart of Flame will grant nearby allies the radiant buff when casting our super, which in turn will boost our super's damage for each affected ally. Revitalizing Blast will weaken champions and bosses when we cause damage with our solar abilities. Rays of Precision will cause our solar precision final blows to trigger an ignition while we are radiant. Honorable mentions to Solo Operative for boosting our damage when playing solo, and to From Whence You Came for increased ability damage to Scorn and Taken combatants. When entering combat, begin by throwing your Trip Mine Grenade. You will receive 33% of your grenade charge back for getting kills. Then start spamming Knife Trick to get the other 66%. Keep in mind that you will actually be getting more than 33% per ability kill most of the time due to our fragments and armor mods, but for simplicity I am only saying 33% because that is what is granted by Young Ahamkara's Spine, which is the main engine of the build. When you charge up an improvised explosive from Gunpowder Gamble, go ahead and use it to gain grenade energy. This is the entirety of the loop. When everything is going well, you are pretty much just going to be spamming abilities left and right. If something goes wrong, such as missing your powered melee, that's when Monte Carlo or Gambler's Dodge will save the day. During boss phases, if you are standing in a well while running Ember of Benevolence, then you will still be able to spam abilities and Monte Carlo will shine even brighter. You will start by emptying your heavy ammo magazine, then swap to Monte Carlo and throw your Trip Mine. Then throw your knives and use Monte Carlo to get them back so you can keep throwing them. Empty your heavy weapons magazine every time autoloading holster triggers, and then continue your ability Monte Carlo spam until the boss dies or the damage phase ends. Thanks for watching. Have a good one, y'all.